Hello, welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started if you don't care. I think it's right at 6 o'clock. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. I know it's cold out there for our Co-op 101 event. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about what makes up your bill, some of the billing options, go over Smart Hub and the usage there, talk a little bit about rebates in our community programs. A little bit of housekeeping. Bathrooms are down the hall there. We have some drinks and some snacks. So if anybody needs those, we certainly have those. We'll kind of go ahead and get started. I do want to give you some updates before we do get started on our program for tonight. You may have seen some announcements. These are in rural Missouri, along with our social media. Capital credits and a one-time bill credit. Our board of directors had authorized a little over $2.5 million in capital credits for the year 2006 and 75% of 2007. So if you were an active member back in 2006 and 2007, you will be receiving capital credits on your December bill. So please look for those. Those who are no longer members but were active during those times, we will be sending those capital credits out. Something else we're going to talk about is a one-time bill credit. Our directors also approved a one-time bill credit to be applied to the December bill for active members. Members will receive a calculation of their usage from January 1st of this year through October. You may think this is something new. We actually did this back in December of 2020. And so it's something as far as the cooperatives, if we have better than expected margins, we return those to our members. Anything we make above and beyond our operating expense are returned to our members. So these are a couple of ways we do that, not only capital credits, but also a one-time bill credit. Some of the reasons for the one-time bill credit is we had better than expected energy sales due to weather. We run the best models that we can. We look at all the data and the forecast when it comes to weather, but obviously the hotter it is, we sell more kilowatts hour, and the colder it is, we sell more kilowatt hours. So we had really a year last year where the weather had some extremes to it, so we had better than expected margins. One of the biggest components of that also was a reduction in our overall demand on the Ozark electric system. And that lowers the bill that we pay to Chemo, our power supplier. We'll look at a slide a little bit later that'll better illustrate that. Wanted to go ahead and, that's correct. So we talked about when those credits will come out. This is the billing cycle 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you see the date here, the billing date, that's when we expect those bills to reach your mailbox. So if you're on the first billing cycle like I am, I did go ahead and get my bill because I am smart, signed up for it, paperless billing, but I should expect that around the 10th. And with the post office these days, that can be a little bit hit or miss, but we do expect those around that time. Holly and her staff work really hard to do that. So if you're on the second cycle, that'll be on the 20th. The third cycle will be around the 30th, and the prepay is always the last day of the month. Prepay is you pay as you go, but they do receive a bill at the end of the month concerning their usage. Here's kind of the big one we'll talk about is already been announced that there's not going to be any rate change in 2026. One of the biggest components of that, again, is being able to lower our demand. You guys, whether it's your homes, your businesses, help us lower the demand, and that we pay through our power supplier. That is really, we did have an increase from Chemo, but we were able to absorb that through the reduction in our demand, and I do have a slide that will really illustrate that. So we want to thank our members for that ability to lower their demand. It really paid off. So this is kind of what we're looking at. I know, guys, this kind of gets small, but this is 2024. That's what our bill was, and that's based on 2023 numbers. So we could kind of see this. This is 2025, and that was when 8 months of demand. So we see a decrease of 3.18%. And then from 24 to 25, we see 11.19 decrease in what we pay KMO, our power supplier, for our system demand.
What do you attribute that decrease to?
Demand billing.
What do you decrease? Why did that occur? I understand that. What caused that to go down?
People were really paying attention to what the true number of maybe demand was costing them at their homes and their businesses, and strove to lower that demand.
Okay.
So we've seen some cases to where demand has been cut in half, and it's people are just adjusting the way they use. The one illustration I can give you is a couple of folks that have electric vehicle chargers, and so they're able to do that, and just folks with their usage. In my home, again, not able to eliminate demand at all, but I'm able to lower it. I can lower it a couple of kW, which will end up helping me save on my bill, and so it really does make a difference. That's really the updates I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right. At this time, I'd like to introduce Holly. She is our billing services supervisor, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about understanding your bill and some of the components on the bill.
Good evening. Thanks for coming to see us. As he said, I'm Holly Hodson. I've been here at the co-op since 1994. I've done billing since probably, I'm thinking 1998, and the bills have changed a lot. I don't know if some of you have been on for several years. I did find one today, just an old one. Anybody remember when it was the postcard that came out in the mail, and then you had to go out to your meter and read the meter, send it back to us. We would input that into the system, and then we would send your bills from that. So times have definitely changed. So we went to this new billing in July of 2024. I have a lady back there on the back row. Her name is Jessica Freitag, and she does most of the billing these days. But she helped us, and we all kind of worked together to make this new bill, so that we thought that it was a little bit better for everybody to see. I mean, this is the bill that you guys receive in the mail every month. So this is the front page. So at the top of it, we have everything listed. We have our office hours, when we're closed. We have our phone numbers on the front of the bill and our website. And then your account number, your name, and the date that the bill comes out. Then this is showing you what the total due is. And then it goes down and it shows you what your balance was from last month, the payment that we received, and then if there is any balance forward, that will show in there. And then it comes to the electric service, where that's showing you what your current bill is and what your total is. And then this is the stub that you guys send back to us. We always have it on here, so if the phone number that is listed, well, we don't have it listed. We are asking for your phone number right there. Used to be on there, didn't it, Jess?
I don't think so. This is a sample.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's true. So we took it off of there. So if that phone number is wrong, we need that for outage reasons. So if you guys call in to do an outage and you use your phone number, that's the number that we need. We always need that number there, because some people have had landlines and now they've gone to cell phones and they forget to tell us those kind of things. So we have two different sections where we can put phone numbers in. We need the number that you want to be contacted with. And then it goes back to the back of the bill. So one of the reasons we didn't have any room on the old bill to add anything to it or do anything like that. So the couple of things that we really wanted to get listed on these bills was the substation and the feeder. So that when you guys either call in or if you watch our social media, when we do have outages, John and his team will put on there, what substation it's out of, what feeder it's out of, and try to give you that kind of information. So on the back of your bill, it always shows you that. It shows you what rate you are, and then it shows you your board district. They're a little bit closer there. At the top of it, it shows you your meter number, the billing period, the readings, the multiplier. It shows you your usage, and then it shows you your demand over at the very far. And then we show you your itemized bills. And I hear all the time, your bills aren't itemized. Well, these bills are, but if we ever went back to this is what people were thinking about. This is when the bills were not itemized. But we did change that back in 2009. They started where they were listing all the charges out. So we have the facilities charge, the kilowatt hours, the KW. This sample bill had a surge diverter, the power cost adjustment. At the bottom, it always shows the total. So there's a little bit closer.
What's the surge diverter charge?
That's an option to the members if they want a surge diverter.
It's a surge protector?
Yes.
You guys
Yes.
install and charge monthly?
Yes.
That's installed on our meter?
Yes.
Okay.
Behind the meter?
Yeah, it's an option. Not everybody has it, but it's something.
It's kind of like a security light.
If you guys are interested in that, please call the member services team and talk with myself or talk with Hannah. We'll be more than happy. There's a company that we work with for those surge diverters. They do offer a warranty. It doesn't warranty everything. There's only specific things that warrant. Provide a warranty on. A lot of electronics are not warranted. But if you're interested in that, please give us a call. The idea behind the surge diverter is volta lightning comes through, it's going to knock it down to an acceptable level where it won't burn up everything in a home. But some of those electrical devices are more sensitive, so they may not be able to take that, but your washer, your dryer, different things like that. So just give us a call.
Yep. And then it gives you just the little graph at the bottom. This can also, which Anna's going to talk about the Smart Hub in just a minute, that really goes into more. You can see it up closer with the graph, but this was just a little graph that we could add to it. Shows you the months, the kilowatt hours, the demand. And then at the bottom is just kind of a comparison from your current bill that you have in your hand to the bill that you had last month, and then a year ago, to show you if there's any changes or anything like that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So we have an energy charge. Is that the total kilowatts we've used in our house?
Yes.
The demand charge is the peak from sometime to sometime. We don't know when. Doesn't explain when that would have occurred, correct? Well, the charge.
It has the time listed out there for you, has the date and the time.
Oh, the date and the time. So
Yes.
Does your graph get that specific that we can go there and look at that?
When you go into if you sign into the Smart Hub, yes.
Okay, got it.
It does not show you the time on there, but it does show you the day. And if you have questions about the time, if you see that change on your Smart Hub, you're always welcome to call
Okay.
the billing services team, and we can give you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do you get to Smart Hub?
We'll go over that in just a moment.
Yep, she's going to work on that in just a second.
No, we'll go over that and kind of do just a walkthrough and stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there a certain time frame that the demand charge is less? Or is it
No.
the same all 24 hours of the day?
All 24 hours of the day. Then again, we list all of the information on the back of the bill again, how to pay by phone. Lots of people pay by phone. We take auto payments. The online, which like I say, then Anna's going to go into that in just a minute, or you're always welcome to come to one of our offices, the Nixa Cape Fair or Mount Vernon office. And then one other way that we have kiosks throughout the system that we take payments through. We have them at each office where people can come in and they pay cash. They can pay them all hours of the day, so they can do it at night. There's several other places that we take those. A lot of them are like price cutters. They have these payment kiosks where people can make their payments. I'm going to skip the Smart Hub. There's the kiosk. There we can see a little bit better. There's Ozark, Golden City, Cassville, Republic, Nixa, Aurora, Ozark, Monette, Bolivar, Stockton, Nixa, Cape Fear, and Mount Vernon offices. That shows those are our physical addresses. And then that's our pay-by-phone number.
Is the one in Aurora still there? Because it's not Price Cutters anymore.
Oh, it's not?
King Saver or something.
I'm not sure. We'll double check.
I would have, because that was one of our top machines. I would think if it wasn't there, we would have heard about it. So back to the billing. We have 3 different options. We have the traditional bill where people receive that every month, whether it's the 1st or the 10th, the 20th, or the 30th. Those are the 3 traditional ones. We have, with the traditional bill, you can have a budget billing. And you're always welcome to call one of us. We can look at your bills. If you want to know that you're going to receive a bill for $180 every month, we can do that. We don't offer that to people up front because we ask them to be on for 12 months before we move them to a budget, because everybody uses electricity differently. So that is one option. That's one criteria we have with the budget billing. But if you were ever interested in that, give us a call and we can look into that. The last one is called prepay. John kind of touched that a little bit. Prepay does, we calculate a bill every month. We use the Smart Hub to do a lot of stuff for our prepay accounts. You can view your bill through there. There is not a bill mailed to the prepay accounts. But we read those meters every night at midnight, and those people that have chosen to go to prepay are billed every day at 1 o'clock for whatever their usage was the day before. And so if they have $100 credit on their account, today's bill was $10, it deducts it down to $90, and it does that daily. Then they receive notice every day that they are below $20, a $20 credit. So it's just a little different thinking. It's helped lots of people that struggle with their billings. I have some people that love the idea. I had one lady when we first went on prepay back in 2012. She liked it. She called me every month on the 1st of the month for months, and she would pay whatever her bill calculated, and then that would get her through the whole month. So I did it because I tested the program out. So I started mine in February of 2012. We went live in May of 2012 to the members for prepay. But so we tested it out before we put it out to the membership. But that is an option that is out there. So. And now I'm going to pass it over to Anna, and she's going to show you all about the Smart Hub. And okay, once she shows you all about it, call us. We can get you set up on that Smart Hub at any time.
And I don't mind to grab my laptop and get people registered tonight.
Sure, I could do that too.
Okay, I'll try to speak as loudly as I can. I'm going to switch this screen over. Yeah, just have to drag it. Oh, okay. There we are. Okay. So this is Smart Hub. We are starting, I'll just go to the home page. This is my actual personal account. So we'll start with bill and pay. So this is where you can go to take a look at your billing history, set up auto pay. make a payment, or look at your payment history. Several options there, but essentially you can kind of go through and see your monthly bills, month over month there. Now, down to usage, this is kind of one of my favorite parts of Smart Hub. Usage Explorer is where I would recommend you go if you really want to kind of get granular with your usage. So, let me scroll down here. And they actually just did an update, and so I'm trying to do this from far away, but let me get out here. Essentially what you'll see is a chart that will show you over time what you've used. Up at the top, you'll have, if you have multiple accounts up here, you can toggle to one or the other. I only have one, but if you do have more than one, you can use that drop down to find your others. You can do quick date range, or you can decide a more specific date range over here. And then you can also look at monthly, daily, or interval data. So monthly and daily, of course, are what they are. Interval is hourly data. If you're wanting to look at your kilowatt hours, that's what it defaults to. If you want to jump down into just seeing your demand, you can also do that. I'm going to push this out a little bit, see if it'll give me. So there you can see your demand over time. And then you can also look at them together. I'm going to go back to kilowatt hours just so I can point out a few more things. One thing that you'll notice here is that this black line, if you're just looking at kilowatt hour usage, this black line is actually the average temperature curve. So you can kind of see how your usage how the temperature affects your usage as well. So I have electric heat, a heat pump, and so you can see how lower temperatures mean higher usage for me. Any questions on that right now? One thing that we are encouraging our members to do is to go in and update or just double check your contact methods. We are going to go to two-factor authentication pretty soon, and so we want to make sure that all of that is updated, so that when we go to that for security reasons, that you don't get locked out of your account. So double check your, if you already have Smart Hub, go ahead and double check your contact methods there. What am I missing? Anything?
Question.
Yes.
And maybe this will answer your question.
Yeah, I'm sort of here, how do you get
No,
that?
that's okay. Can you do this on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. So
Do you have an app or something like that?
There's
And
an
a
app.
password?
Yes, and we can get you registered.
and do you have a personal computer at home?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so
can do
it
it on
might
both.
be easier to do it on your personal computer.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, I hate using my phone. I don't like it.
Well, and I will say that it's a lot easier to see and use Smart Hub on a desktop. It's a lot easier to see your usage and really dive down into that daily or hourly data if you can get on a desktop and look at it. The app
She's saying
is,
it's easier to put it on your home
Right,
computer.
yes, yeah.
So, where do I pull it up? If I turn my computer on, it.
Yeah.
My Ozark Electric?
Yep, you'll go to ozarkelectric.com,
Okay.
and the first option on the top menu is pay bill, and you'll click on that, and that's where you can log in, and we can help you get your login set up as well.
And I
But you
do all
can't, you don't have to pay your bill online.
No, no, no.
I don't
You don't.
either. I write a check.
That's what we
But,
do.
but you can see that information.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to see what,
What,
yeah, because I didn't know that the demand was by time now, or I could see
Yeah.
where it happened, so.
Yep. On Smart Hub, you can see the day We're still working with an ISC who is the provider for this system to show the time. But like Holly said, for right now, you can see what day you hit it. If you have questions about the time of day, just give us a call because we can pull up those readings.
Yeah.
But the bill said the time of day.
Yes, the bill, yep. When you get your bill, it'll show the time of day as well.
But your Smart Hub effort is still a work in progress to get it to show on Smart Hub?
To get the time to
Get the
show.
time, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, it'll show the day, just not the time of day.
Correct. Okay.
Anna, would you go ahead and pull up like your April timeframe and click on that a little bit further? We can see it, sorry, the one right there. Anna and I work, Anna is our member energy specialist here at Ozark Electric, and so a lot of times we get calls and queries about, hey, my bill has went up exponentially since this time. And so, as we've already talked about, Holly kind of gave you that, we had electronic meters. We started setting those electronic meters really before anybody in our area back in 2003, 2004, and 2005. And so with those electronic meters, it affords us all of this information. So as Ann had already said, this is our average temperature and some things like that. There'll be a lot of times a member will call into us and say, boy, something has went on for the last month or so. It is, my usage has went through the roof. And so there are times when I can go back and I can say, well, and this is May 10th. Go ahead and click into that a little bit more if you would, Anna, on to May 10th. So this is our billing period for that time. This is what it's showing us. And so this is Saturday, May 10th, and this is actually going to show us hour by hour, midnight to midnight. So, we can see the overnight hours, not much going on, everything else. So there's some really detailed information. So a lot of times when people will call me and say, something has happened, and I could say, well, I can tell you it started on October 12th at 9 a.m. Maybe that well has went out, whatever has happened there at their home, something electrical. We can go back and we can look at this information because a lot of times we have the ups and downs, as we can see, but a lot of times when we're using that well pump goes bad, we're seeing just that constant use of energy. There's a little bit of up and down, but there's always something constantly running. So Anna and I use that, and all the information we tell members over the phone, they have access to as well. But we're able to go back and take a look at that and really diagnose a lot of times maybe what is causing that high bill and that extra usage. So that's been really awesome. And you can set this up, I'm sure Anna's doing it now, you can set this up however you want to. You can look if you're on the system long enough, you can look year by year. You can set whatever interval you want. She's doing a start date and an end date.
So what I was going to show you guys is exactly what John is talking about. I noticed that my usage was a little bit higher in March and April than I thought it should have been. And it was just kind of a baseline where something was running all the time. And so I really dug into my usage to try and figure out what it was. And finally figured out that my well pump was running consistently. I don't know when it started, but around, I think it was the 12th of April is when I got it fixed. But you can kind of see right at the end of that usage, which I know it's a lot of data to look at, where there's a significant drop. That is where I shut my well pump off for a day, just to try and troubleshoot what I had going on. But essentially, once I had my well pump fixed, I went from consistently using about 1.5 kilowatt hours to using 0.5 when my HVAC wasn't running. And so there's a lot that we can help kind of diagnose by taking a look at your interval data.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So what we do in our own home has nothing to do with whatever anybody else does. I mean, basically, when we kick up our demand, it doesn't kick up the price for everybody else. I guess what I'm trying to say is when the system is patched with, everybody's turned on our light at the same time, the demand goes up considerably. But if we can avoid that time, we still get charged for that demand.
You're getting charged for your individual.
Individual.
Demand, yes.
And what's the baseline on that? think you said something about 3 years to date or something. How do you arrive at that baseline?
There isn't necessarily a baseline for your demand. There may be an average over time for what you might see, but every month it resets, and then you may hit a peak, the first day, or you may hit another one later. So it just kind of depends on, how you operate within your own home.
Right.
So like in my home, my demand during the winter time is an 11, and my demand during a summertime is 13. So I can work on lowering that somewhat, but I still have kind of the signature of my home, what it's going to require as far as KW. I went ahead and my average usage at my home is 1,204 kilowatt hours with a demand 11.40. So that's my average over the last 12 months. So so I'm able to lower my demand somewhat, but I'm not going to go from 11 to just a 2 or a 3. I'm going to go from 11 to maybe a 9, different things like that. Just to kind of finish up real quick, guys, this is an awesome tool. One other thing I'll say about the billing as far as that goes, and I understand if you still like to receive the bill at your home, I completely understand that. I'm still, a lot of times I like that piece of paper in my hand, but I did go to the paperless billing. That does save the co-op money. That's one less bill we have to send out each and every month, and so, we have 28,000 members, 36,000 meters, and so, if we could get half or more to go paperless, that really is a big cost savings to the cooperative and to our members. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah, I arrived late. Maybe you discussed this already, but I'm not understanding the demand charge kilowatt, because it has a certain date, on one date at a certain time, it says July 25th, 16:15, and my demand charge cost me way more than my usage charge.
Okay. What was your demand on that?
You mean the 9.15 kilowatts?
So 9, okay.
I don't know how you come up with that number. I don't understand that number.
Okay, that number is the demand is whatever the highest 15-minute period is throughout that billing cycle. So it sounds like on July, would you say 17:15?
July 25th.
Yeah, at what time?
4:15 p.m.
Okay. Really warm. I'm sure that the air conditioning was going, et cetera, and so I'm sure that sets your demand for that billing period.
I don't understand why we haven't charged.
Okay.
Over my energy charge.
Yeah. Because as far as that goes, we're charged from our power supplier, KMO. We not only have an energy charge, but we also have a demand. We paid demand for the last probably 50 years. Again, if we can help lower our demand on the system, it helps lower what we pay to KMO. Demand is really in the news these days. There's just not enough to go around. So if we can help lower that demand, and it's a true cost of electricity. It's not just the kilowatt hours that are being sold. It's the rate at which you use electricity, which is the demand.
How do I know when that demand charge is? Because it jumps around every month. It's different every month.
Okay, it's whatever the highest 15-minute period that you would set within that billing cycle.
In my resident usage, not corporate.
Yeah.
Are you retired, or is there other people in your household?
It's just my wife and I.
Okay, does she work?
No.
Okay, because I'm thinking, okay, what do I do when I, get off work? I come home and I turn on the dishwasher, and then I may go run a load of clothes, and then I may turn on the range, my electric range, that's what I've learned about demand. I'm going to wait till 10 o'clock when I go to bed to turn that dishwasher on now. And I may not run that load of clothes until 2 o'clock in the morning when I have to get up to go to bed.
And not run the dryer with it.
Yes, and not run the dryer with it. And that's what I've learned from the demand charge, is kind of staggering when I do all of that.
It's like going back to the Flintstones, you can only do one thing at a time.
And guys, here's the deal. There's large things. He said his demand was a 9 something. So this is just taking generalities. If the AC unit is going to central air, that's probably at least a 5 kW, a 4 or 5 kW, something like that. So once that air conditioner goes for the first time, that's already hit us at a 4 or 5, whatever that would be. So the small changes that we can make, and I just talk about these, not going to be able to eliminate that 5 kW unless we just want to go without air conditioning. And I can tell you for myself, I don't want.
have a solar system, and 9 months out of the year, I'm making more generation, making more electricity than I'm using, but
Yeah.
this demand charge is
So.
just eating me up.
So we can talk a little bit about that. So at that 415 on July, whichever you said, yeah. So that's when our demand kind of might be the highest during those times when people are starting to get off work and things like that. So even though you may be producing somewhat, you're still taking from the grid and creating that demand on the system.
Think of that to be the generator you would need every month. When you see that demand charge on your bill, it says, I would have had, if I would not have been hooked as a solar customer, if I would have not been hooked to Ozark Electric, I would have had to have a 14.1 kW generator sitting out there to make sure my house could continue to run.
So being solar is great.
I don't understand it, because during the days when I'm generating the most
Yeah,
electricity.
and as we know, there are times when electricity is at a premium, and 4 o'clock on July is when electricity is at a premium, and you're taking from the system. And so there has to be some type of mechanism to capture that. If it was 8 o'clock in the morning, you're putting back on the system and probably don't have any type of usage in your home. A lot of times we see solar members from 7 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But after that 3 o'clock till dark and overnight till the next morning, they're taking from the grid. So if they're taking from the grid, still creating demand on the system. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm a nighttime person.
Okay.
And so whenever I'm doing stuff at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, everybody else is not using electricity then, but our bill is still going up. So that's, I need to understand what I'm supposed to be doing to not make our bill.
Well, and again, each person is going to create that demand. The demand at your home may be at 11 o'clock at night to where, in a more traditional, get off work 5 or 6 o'clock, it may be during that time. So
To have the least demand charge, space your appliances out.
it is, yeah. So again, one of the things,
Unplug everything. Unplug it from the wall.
just some simple steps. And these are just things like, and you don't have to have, a lot of times we talk about smart appliances or maybe you don't have Wi-Fi in the home. I certainly don't have my appliances hooked to that. But when I get home at 6 o'clock in the evening on July, whatever, my air conditioner is going to be on. We're going to prepare some type of a meal or something like that. I don't have to dry my clothes. Anything that's going to use 220 power is going to have more demand. It's a larger motor, et cetera, et cetera. So if I can eliminate maybe drying those clothes to a time to where my air conditioner is not running as much, I can go ahead and set that dishwasher at 11 o'clock when I go to bed. Hopefully it's gotten cooler, and again, those cycles are not running as long as far as my air conditioning goes. So those are some ways you can save on demand. For myself, I can usually take that 11 kW demand down to a 9 or that 13 down to 11. I'm not going to take that 13 down to a 2. I've just got different things in my home that use too much electricity.
Is there a way to monitor that hourly, like on the smart app?
Yeah, there are some different, I'll actually have you, if you don't care, Scott, I'll have you talk with one of our board members. He's using a system called Emporia that he has that's able to really look at his usage, and you can kind of set some parameters on that. So if someone such as yourself that does have solar, you can certainly do that. Yeah. Have one more question?
So on that 15-minute interval, anytime within that billing cycle,
Yes, sir.
how do you come up, like on mine, it's 7.210?
It's average within that block of time, so
Did I use 7 kilowatts in that 15-minute period?
your demand was 7. It's a true demand. It's not over an hour's time, it's over that 15-minute period. So whatever device you had in your home, as far as electronic device, that's what it pulled. So it pulled a 7.2. 7.2. So again, that's air conditioning or that's electric heat, with a couple other things to give you that 7 point. And that's a great number, to be honest with you. The system average is somewhere around 10, right at around 10. So on average, if you can stay around 7, that's really below average. So, and are you going to finish up a few things?
I think I'm done with Smart Hub.
If you want to just go to even like the sign up screen, just to show the sign up screen and
The registration screen.
yeah.
I don't know if it'll let me get there on this computer because it'll go to NIC, but let me try.
I have a question again. The demand charge, in that 15 minutes.
I don't think it's gonna let me because.
Usage goes up.
Oh,
Says
yeah, that's
running
okay.
5, but it spikes up to 7. For that 15 minutes, we're gonna pay for that 2 kilowatt difference.
It's average within this 15 minutes. It's a 10, it's an 8, it's a 10, it's an 8, it's a 10, it's an 8, so it's a 9.
Okay.
So it's average within that 15-minute block of time.
So does that continue on for the rest of the month or just for that particular time?
Whatever your highest, if that would be your highest period, then that would be what you would be billed for
For the rest of the month?
for the month.
For that billing cycle,
Yeah,
you charge that rate. It's like if gas goes up, you get gas at a certain time,
yeah,
you're paying that money for gas.
yeah.
in your car.
So you don't pay it for just the peak, you pay it
Your
continuously?
full bill.
Yeah.
You pay the peak, so
Huh?
it's not how much electricity you use, but it's how fast you're using it. So the period during the month, the 15-minute period during the billing month, whichever 15-minute period had the highest peak,
Right.
that's what you're billed on.
Right.
So you're billed for that peak.
Yeah. So that's what my wife was here, she'd be all.
Use 3 amps.
But, say it spikes up there for just 15 minutes and then it goes down to 5 for the rest of the month. You still yeah, she would say that's not.
That's just a demand charge.
That's just a demand charge.
That's not for.
It's not daily, that's not what you're.
That's not for all his electricity, that's just for that one
Just
15-minute demand charge. That's just for that one 15 minutes.
Okay, well, that's what, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that, if that was 70 cents and all the rest of your bill's
What's
30,
that?
you'd be billed 30 except for that 170. It's gonna be a 70 cent.
Yeah, that's what it should be, yeah.
Is the board looking at a less confusing that the average customer could understand to do away with the demand charge?
Board looks at rates each and every year. It's a constant talk as far as that goes, but to eliminate demand means that you're eliminating one of the largest components that we have as far as electricity goes.
I'd rather see my bill where I could understand it and know what it was and pay an extra penny or whatever throughout the year and have something that is totally confusing for the average customer.
Yeah.
And it's unavoidable and doesn't make sense to the average customer.
Yeah, I know real quickly, guys, that the demand, but with the demand component, I heard people say, why don't you just tell people to lower their demand? That's great. Some people would have participated for it, but for it to make this big of an impact, for us not to be able to raise rates in 2026 and for us able to lower our demand and lower what we pay to our power supplier, this is why demand was introduced. Guys, we see it in the national news, we see it all over. They're building power plants each and every day, not because of kilowatt-hour sales, but because of demand. In 2021, during Winter Storm Uri, every other power supplier, every other utility in our area had brownouts. So when I've lived in Missouri my entire life, it was negative 20 degrees at that point. And there were power utilities that shut off the power during that time. Why was that? Because demand went absolutely through the roof. Associated, KMO, and Ozark Electric didn't have to shut off power during that time because we had enough what? We had enough demand. to get to our members. So that's why demand is so important to each home, each business, each utility. So that's why demand is in place.
Okay, so this is the login screen. You can get to this from ozarkelectric.com, and then the first option on the main page is pay bill. It'll bring you to this screen where you can log in if you do have a login. If you don't, the second option under the orange sign-in button is register now. And you can just go in there, put in your account number, your last name, and enter your email address and confirm, and you should be able to access your account. If you don't know your account number or you have more questions, we can always register you in the office as well, so you can just give us a call. If I minimize this, will it bring me back to Prezi? You can try. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
So what sets the rate for energy charge and demand charge? 'Cause on my energy charge rate, it's 0.106, but demand charge is 3.75. That's a big difference. So that means my demand charge was, as far as dollars and cents, was like 75% of my bill.
So the rates are set each year by the board of directors, and so that 10.6 cents was set last December, not this December, last December for the year for the rates. So the 10.6 cents is your kilowatt hour charge. It's going to be that every month, and then your KW charge is that 375. So it's that rate times whatever your KW is for that month.
Well, that's a big difference in rates.
Well, one of the things, again, being a net metering member, you're able to save on your kilowatt hours, but you're still creating that demand on our system. I think there would be people that would say, well, I don't know if that's fair. I'm paying, if we had a blended, or just a normal rate of a strict kilowatt hour, then we have people that are subsidizing your demand because they're paying for your demand and you're not paying for the kilowatt hours.
So the company pays more for demand from energy providers. Ozark Electric pays more during peak periods for electricity from their energy providers.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind, like for the average home, again, let's say it's 1,200 kilowatt hours and a demand of 10 kW. Where there's times where you're either putting back on the grid where you may have no usage or very little usage being a net metering member solar, but you're still creating that demand.
So you don't have batteries either, though, right?
No.
Okay, all right.
So I guess that's what you need.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the rebates that are available to you as members right now. These did change in July. Where we are going and where the cooperative model is going with efficiency and kind of, what we want to encourage to see on the system. So our rebate programs are facilitated through Associated Electric Cooperative. That's our generation cooperative headquartered in Springfield. So what they changed most recently, if you want to skip ahead one, Jennifer, ground source heat pumps are the same as they've been for many years. What they did change is that the traditional heat pump rebate is only available for dual fuel now. Where it used to be you could have electric strips for the backup, now you have to have a fossil fuel backup to be eligible for the rebate. And so if you have existing fossil fuel on site, it's a $300 rebate. If you're installing propane, natural gas, something like that, with your heat pump, it's a $500 per ton rebate. And then another thing that changed was the ductless mini split heat pump rebate used to be $150 per ton. They've changed that to $150 per condenser. This one, yes, this one did change as well. So this is heat pump water heater. It's a more efficient option as opposed to what a traditional water heater, electric water heater would have been. It was $500. They raised the rebate amount for the heat pump water heater to $750. Thermostat rebate stayed the same. $50 rebate for programmable thermostats. And then we also have an EV charger rebate. It's 50% up to $250. This one is expiring at the end of the month, so if you've installed one in the last 90 days, go ahead and get that one in as soon as possible. Lastly, I want to share a little bit about our home energy audit program. This is also one that's facilitated through Associated. So we have a state certified auditor that we can use who can come into your home. He's going to check for efficiency. He's going to look at insulation, duct work. He's going to look at your systems, your water heater, and he's going to put your home under a vacuum with a blower door to see what the airflow in the home is and to see if air sealing is necessary and where that air sealing needs to be. The cost to the member is $75, but with that, you'll come away with a packet of information and a work order that can show you what can be done within the home to help with energy efficiency. From that work order or list of recommended measures, anything that you complete, we can rebate 50% up to $750. So that's just a little bit of something on top of just simply the knowledge of knowing what needs to be done in your home to help with efficiency. Okay, any questions on rebates, Smart Hub, anything like that? Wonderful. Okay.
Hello, I'm just going to talk very briefly on some community programs we have coming up just because of the timeliness of it. So if any of you guys have kids, grandkids, family members at home that are in high school, we have some things coming up. Applications open January 1 for Youth Tour, Cycle, and scholarships. So Youth Tour is a week-long trip to Washington, D.C. Cooperatives all across the country send high school juniors to Washington, D.C. for a week. There's a lot of leadership training and great opportunities. We sent an individual this past June, and he had never been on an airplane. I don't think he'd even ever been out of Missouri. So it was a really great opportunity for him. He probably will never get it again. So it's just an awesome program we have. Again, that's for high school juniors. High school sophomores, there's a leadership conference in Jefferson City that the Association of Missouri Electric Cooperatives sponsors. We send 2 sophomores to that. So if you know any high school sophomores, encourage them to apply. They have to attend a high school or be homeschooled within our service area. And then the last thing, we offer college scholarships. So if you know any seniors that are going to college or trade school after their senior year, they can apply for a scholarship through us as well. Any questions on that? Thank you.
That's it, but I'll let John close.
All right. Guys, we do appreciate everybody coming out this evening. Really the information that we do have. So just kind of going over everything. So does anybody have any further questions or anything that we can answer? Again, appreciate you coming out tonight. Yes, sir.
They came out and put new electric poles in 2 years ago.
Okay.
They came out again this year and put in bigger ones.
Okay.
Because they're putting cable attached to them.
Yes, sir.
Who's paying for that?
Not us, not you. So the telecom companies are needing clearance. They're using our pole. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak too much for operations, but they need a certain clearance to be able to attach to our pole. So those telecommunication companies are paying for that. We're replacing the poles. Our contractors are replacing it, but we're being reimbursed. It's not our members that are paying for a 2-year-old pole to be replaced. So a lot of times those poles are classed, maybe it's a 35 and they have to raise that to a 40. So they're putting a 40-foot pole in there for the extra clearance for them to get their comms on. So yeah, a lot of that's going on in my area. T Highway out here, 174, A lot of those poles are being replaced, not too terribly old, but no, those are telecommunication companies that are paying for that. Yes, sir.
We have fiber a mile from our house, fiber optic.
Okay.
But on the power poles that come into our neighborhood, there's a twisted copper provider. Is there any option in the future to get fiber into our neighborhood to replace that twisted copper internet provider?
No, it's something that Ozark Electric would do. We've looked at broadband and some different things like that. Am I answering the right question here?
Apparently someone's renting the power poles to string that line.
Okay.
That fiber could go down.
Yeah. That's a question. I know there are a lot of different telecommunication companies in our area that are using our pole attachments. One in my area is called Total High Speed, and they're doing a lot of build outs in the different areas. I've heard, Willard, Republic, Nixa, Clever, so they're doing a lot of build outs there. So you may see that soon. I would, if I was interested, maybe find out who the company is there close and talk with them. A lot of times if they can get, just like anything else, if you can get you and your neighbor signed up for that, it may be more feasible for them to go ahead and bring it to you.
So the problem is that the provider already provides either rent or made an agreement with the pole.
Okay.
You guys own the poles, correct?
We do.
Okay, so I don't know what that agreement is, and who do I call to find out what the agreement is, when that agreement ends, or how can we change it so we can get fiber instead of twisted copper to provide internet?
Darren, can you help me with this a little bit, sir?
So that's going to be through the fiber company. That's not through Ozark Electric. We supply power, they supply fiber optic, the copper. That's not, that's up to them to decide what's feasible for them. And we don't control the fiber companies or.
Well, I understand that, but you provided the allowance, or you provided the access to the pole.
Correct.
When does that end?
It'd be on a contract, but that would be a question.
Who do I contact on that contract so I can find out what the particulars on that?
If you're wanting fiber to be upgraded, I think from our understanding question, you'd rather fiber be on there. Yeah, you want fiber in your home, basically, is what I'm getting, right?
I want the option of fiber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you call that provider, whoever has that copper that you're talking about, that would be a conversation for them, because they can come and they can say, hey, we're going to switch out what's on that pole to us. No problem. I'm not sure what the process looks like on your operations side, but I mean, like.
No, we don't. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, basically they pay us to put stuff on the pole.
There we go. Now we're getting to the point.
Yeah.
They pay you to do it, and how long does that pay you contract last?
It doesn't really matter in that case. They will upgrade it when they want to upgrade.
Like they're not locked in by the contract.
So essentially, there's nothing we can do.
Again, I would contact whoever has the provider in the area and see if they want to do an upgrade. I would obviously call the telecommunication company and say that there's interest here and things like that.
So I've been doing that for probably about 10 years.
Okay.
And they'll tell me, well, it's not worth it. But they're still providing the service for a low grade.
Yeah.
The point of the previous administration spent billions of dollars to put fiber to rural areas. There's a block on that last mile to our house. Yeah, we paid for that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out, so they paid some kind of money to hang it on your poles.
They do.
I don't know who to contact to find out what that contract is and when it ends.
The contract, just to be clear, the contract is not what's limiting the fiber.
I got it, but that's a starting point for when does that contract end?
Well, so I mean,
You're buying your contract for us.
and there could be multiple pole attachments, correct, Darren? I mean, there's one pole attachment, so if another company, it's not like that they have the sole use of that pole. So if another company wanted to come in and provide fiber, we could do a second pole attachment, and so they could attach fiber as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not just because you've got one, you can't have two. So yeah, I mean, there hypothetically there could be 2 or 3 pole attachments on there, 2 or 3 wires ran, communication wires, because communication typically isn't that heavy. Doesn't add to the load factor. You know, we always have to keep the load factor of our poles, of our wires into consideration. So yeah, they could add a secondary attachment. So, yes, sir.
Do they pay anything to use?
They do. Yep. One of the things, a couple of years in legislation, just as we mentioned during that past administration, the Missouri co-ops did make it a lot easier for telecommunication companies to use to pole attach. We do receive a fee for that. And so we try to keep up with those contracts the best we can. A lot of times we really have to kind of be the watchdog on that. And I don't care if it's here in the city of Mount Vernon, Springfield, or out in Greene County or Greenfield. I've even heard they do it by the dark of night to put those up. So we really have to be a watchdog to make sure that we get, because it's our members' money. It's not Ozark Electric's money. It's our members' money. So if they're doing the pole attachments, we want them to pay for those. Yeah.
With everything talking about AI, which has been going on for years, but I mean, all the power consumption they're saying that's going to require, what do you guys foresee for the future? I mean, rates going to really elevate?
The thing about when we talk about AI, and I'm in the board meetings, I'm a manager of member services, so, you know, we're a three-tiered system. Associated Electric has the generation sources. They generate the power. KMO transmits the power, and we're the distribution co-op to bring it to your homes and businesses. It's going to, regardless if there's AI added, there's going to be increased demand. We see demand from residential and businesses continue to go up to where we see kilowatt hour sales kind of flatline. A lot of different reasons for that, but that's the trend regardless. But the last thing we want to do, and the last thing Associated wants to do, is to get a data center on that's going to create all this demand and this, you know, this need for maybe another power plant. It's got to be feasible for our membership, and it's got to be beneficial. These companies are going nationwide. If you've got excess demand, then they're looking to put a power plant, or excuse me, a data center or whatever, because they need the power. They don't really care where it's at. So we're just making sure that it's 100% feasible, and it's going to be a great deal for us and our members, instead of getting into something that we're going to have to do a lot of build out, charge our members to build, and, you know, may not always be there, or it may not be at the rate we want it to be. All right, guys, we really do appreciate you coming tonight. If you have any questions or anything else, or like to talk to any of us, we have some staff available, some board members here. So again, just really appreciate everyone coming tonight, and have any questions, so let us know.